Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our second series and kind of piece of information this week when we think about adoption and fostering. I am here with Sue Dromey, who is a specialist attachment therapist and integrative child therapist, having spent 40 years in the world and the domain, right, of fostering and adoption. My opening question, Sue, the thing that I really want us to think about is, what is it from a school-based perspective and an attachment-based perspective that really we want schools to be focusing on and considering? What is the importance of attachment and having and developing the skill set and the practice of safe and secure attachments? And how can schools support that provision? Like, what is it they need to know, Sue?
Well, it really helps to be a trauma-informed school that makes such a difference and to be in alliance with parents. And it helps to think about parts of the children as much younger than they are. So you
Mm.
start at 5 or 10 or 7, but you haven't got a 10-year-old. You have a 10-year-old in some ways. And if they've been through the care system, and you can be adopted at 10, you can be placed at,
Right.
and then there's almost an expectation, oh, well, they got them when they were 1. Well, what's the problem then? Many problems, because that child has, as you say, been somewhere else, been definitely anyway with neglect or drugs in utero, or so they're starting, whereas our healthy attachment kids are starting here. Ours are kind of starting here. They have a long way to catch up, and they're being parented, hopefully therapeutically, but not always, because parents just do what they've learned, which is how they were parented. Um, that doesn't work with many of our kids. We'll get on to nonviolent resistance later. And so you need a school who will tune in to each individual kid, because some of them won't be adopted. They'll be refugees, won't they? So it's not just out the adopted kids, is it? And I think if people can think younger, that sometimes helps to think younger. And I often say it to parents, and they say, well, he's 10 and he should be doing that. I say, okay, yeah, but where is he actually functioning? And when that happens and he's escalated, how old is he? How old is that kid when they're going around the classroom like this, or when they've boshed somebody like this, or when they've had a go at the TA, or when they've totally withdrawn? Because you've got your acting out kids and you've got your closed, withdrawn kids. Where are they? Maybe back there, or they've escaped, because that's how they survived in that home for 3 years when there was drugs and all this stuff kind of going on. They escaped,
Yeah.
switched off, dissociated. So have you got a dissociated kid in the classroom? Maybe. Have you got a dissociated kid who gets very, very scared and then comes out and is violent, protecting themselves, maybe their little self? So I'm kind of not expecting a drawing and talking person to be aware of that, because if they are aware, it's quite scary to think, oh, so who is this that I've got here with me?
Mm-hmm.
But that would be more therapy. But
Yeah.
what I think the draw and talk is offering is relationship. Yes, please. Can we have relationship?
I love what you said there. The thing that really resonated with me was giving schools permission, and teachers, class-based teachers, TAs,
Yeah.
people doing specialist interventions, the permission to really take time to assess the emotional age response.
I also am a very strong advocate, and please, schools or education, listen to having it holding the children back. Why can't they have another year in nursery or reception before they've got all this SATs and this and this and this? Why? Why can't they? Yeah. Because then here we are, I've got a kid now in year 9. She's not a year 9er, she's really struggling. Why couldn't she have stayed in year 6 or year 7 or reception? Now, for the very bright kids, we say, oh, but they're doing fine academically. What's happening in their friendships?
So building on that, because schools are living, breathing environments, aren't they? And they're fast environments, actually. And the pressure that staff are under themselves.
Okay.
If you were speaking to a head teacher
Yeah.
to really think about how on earth, inside of like the new 8 principles to mental health and well-being, how on earth do schools develop strategies that have that collaborative approach, one where they're considering staff well-being in having to be
Absolutely.
present to the impact of these kids' needs on them, as well as
Absolutely.
delivering a curriculum?
Yeah.
And then also, how do we collaborate in terms of those multidisciplinary services? So with the virtual schools, with the parents, with the carers, with the children's homes, and with the children themselves.
So how? Well, it takes a vision, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It takes a vision, I guess, from the head, but it can come this way up, because I think sometimes you can have such fantastic TAs who are on it, and you think, oh, I hope they get that one. I think I would, I'm working with families, support the parents. So for you, it's support the teachers. So the support for whatever way the school does the support is absolutely crucial.
Where do you create the balance, Sue, the safe space in which there are very tight boundaries for these children, but it comes from a place of love and relationship,
Yes.
the attachment side of things?
Yeah.
What do you want to say about that?
I agree. That's exactly what it needs to be. The kids need to feel safe, but their inner working model isn't necessarily safe. So yes, to put the boundaries in. Well, I kind of was almost going to move off to NVR there, but if your boundaries are first about being relationship. So if you're in relationship with a kid, you've got more chance of them responding to you. I appreciate class of 30, yeah? You've got more chance of them responding to you. You're trying to get them back to de-escalate them. I'm NVR language now, if you familiar with. So you're trying to de-escalate the child and de-escalate the teacher, and then they need some space to get their brain back, don't they? But if you don't go in and try and be in relationship, what you're going to have is escalation and a wrecked classroom. And then you're going to get exclusions, and you're going to get this, and you're going to get that. And those are manageable not to do that if you have principles and practice of, no, we are doing relationship first. But I guess many schools say, no, we're doing teaching. Yeah, well, you can't teach unless you're in relationship. You can't teach unless the child feels safe enough to be open to thee.
If people feel safe, contained, and wanted, they will engage in the curriculum. We know the results. We know the statistics.
And so what did you say? Safe, contained, and a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
That's the journey of an adopted kid. Do I belong here? Am I safe?
So if you were to sum up the importance of relationship and attachment and connectedness in the realm of adoption and fostering with children and young people, like what is the focus, like the importance of it?
Oh, it's the base really, isn't it? They've come with a wobbly base, and they want to grow a sense of, this is me and I'm this. And yeah, I did have struggles. I have struggles, and but I am loved. You kind of want that. And even when and some, see, adoption is kind of a marriage, isn't it? It's like an arranged marriage. And sometimes the arranged marriage, they actually work at it and they kind of fall in love, and they're kind of like that. And sometimes they don't, and there's these craggy bits and triggers either side, triggers from the child, triggers from the parents. It makes it very hard. I mean, if you love and like your kid, it's such a difference. Same for a teacher. I can't stand that kid. Okay, it's probably triggering something in you if you haven't got time to talk about it, So sometimes parents are working so hard to be there for that child, and that child has a barrier around them because I can't go there, I'm too hurt, I just can't trust you. That's kind of my work to see, can we take what's in that wall, what's behind that wall, kind of thing. And those trust issues will bounce around in schools as well. But trying to find ways of being without this, for teachers and TAs or dinner ladies or reception, let them sit with the receptionist if that was a lovely receptionist, and give a bit of time, and let the child feel. You see, even if you say to some children, if they believe, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about shame, right? Shame, yeah. So if you've got a healthy, emotionally attached kid and they're in trouble and they get a detention, they kind of resent that maybe, or they think, oh, fair cop or whatever. They don't feel, I'm bad, I'm rubbish, and you hate me. They don't necessarily feel like, they just think, oh, I hate that teacher or whatever. But it's not them home self that's covered in the shame of I'm wrong again. I'm completely wrong. I don't fit and they don't like me. Which is what happens sometimes to the kids at home. They flick into shame, and then the parents have got to kind of regroup and get them out of the shame, to let them know, look, it's the behavior. I just didn't like what you did. It's not you. But the parents got all their feelings about that. I can't even do that again. I can't stand. I need to go for a walk. Otherwise, I'll do something. This is very everyday stuff that's happening. And if the parent can learn to reach out, so that's on just in the house, intense, and then you've got school, where where things work well. I've got parents who are linking with the teacher, saying, "What, bad morning, had a bad morning," or "We are going to be late." Be late. If you've got to be late, but you're coming to school in relationship, that you've somehow soothed it, you found whatever the kid wanted and they couldn't get it and they flicked up. I remember a parent saying, so we were an hour late, but he did have the toy soldier. Fine, permission to be late and be in relationship. I know that's disruptive for the classroom, but you've got a calmer child. What would you like? You want a child who hasn't found his toy soldier, so neurodiverse child, he needed his toy soldier, and the mother, instead of feeling stressed to hell to try and get him out, all right, she's probably late for work, or if she probably wasn't working because it's too much with the child, and then the receptionist says, hello, Johnny, great you're here. And then he thinks it's okay, and then he goes into the classroom and the teacher says, oh, Johnny, just sit down there and I'm going to come and tell you that Sarah, you're late. Why are you here? Now please sign the register. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
We understand what's going on with kids at home, internally, yeah, and then open up a bit. I've also just written down here repair, right? You have to. There's always reps. That's relationships where I say to the kids, everybody has that. Do you know that's like all adults as well. We do. And then we think, okay, that wasn't so good. That wasn't my brightest moment. And then we repair. But
yes,
with our kids, it's the adults who have to reach out.
Repair.
Right?
Yes.
Because if you are two and dirty nappy or in a cot, you've had nothing to eat, and you feel you've gone off, actually, you've dissociated. If an adult doesn't pick you up and repair that, that's what you're stuck in. So you aren't necessarily able to do that repair. Whereas in healthy relationships that comes. Although it's really hard to say sorry. We don't do say sorry. We do it with a thing. Come on, we're going to watch the telly now together, or something like that. So that repair is really important, and then the kids can learn that. And then I just thought of another kid. Look out for the pleasers as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do I have to do here to fit in? Okay, I'll be the good one. So that they're always on. Do you know those kids?
Schools hyper focus, Sue, on fight, flight, and freeze. They forget appease. And it is as vital to spot those kids as much as anything else, the appease bit of it.
They're not even going to stick out yet. So you can
No, that's right.
They don't know who they are because they've just got to do that. I'm going to this, and I'm going to be this. And
Yeah.
they're appeasing, they're the ones that give their sweets away or their dinner away, not realizing you're entitled to your dinner, you know? So those as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for having me. I quite enjoyed that.
Good.